Good evening to you then, folks. It's been a while. I apologize. I've had stuff in my life I've had to deal with. But we are back, and we are near the business end of the TRL season. It is round 8 from Saudi Arabia, and boy oh boy, is the championship heating up. And Boss has to get us underway in this qualifying session. 327 kilometers an hour on the brakes towards turns 1 and 2. Down from 8th gear to 2nd gear, then put the foot flat to the floor as he comes up through turn 3, then into the twisty section that, of course, can definitely destroy your lap, can destroy your race. Bottas would know all about that, crashing out at this Grand Prix at turn 4 back in Season 2, but he looks like he has got past all the danger zones of this first sector as he heads up towards the first sector split. It looks like it's been a decent run so far, 32.046. As he heads into the carousel left, 6th gear, dropping down to 5th, then to 4th, 155 kilometers an hour. Up the hill, small kick of oversteer as he turns on the overtake button on his car. Up towards the right-left chicane, 5th gear, 200 kilometers an hour. He's absolutely flying around the track. Small tap of the outside wall as he hurtles his way down the back straight. Activates the DRS now, 7th gear, reaching into 8th, 300 kilometers an hour. Up towards that middle sector split, 1 minute 0.596. Flies through the left, right, right, left. Comes up towards the next DRS detection point. It's been a brilliant lap so far, Jamboy.
It's been a brilliant lap. He's coming up to the final hairpin now. Not a lot of DRS left. Here we go, braking. Decent braking, I won't lie. Would have done better. But we run up to the finish line. Up to the DRS now. Runs over the pit lane. And finishes with a time of a 1:27.808.
Well, that is it for Q1, considering the fact that only 2 drivers go out. Magnesheep survives by virtue of doing a lap on the intermediate tyres. Going out in Q1 is the glitch-ridden Hecaron and Wapping, who is serving a qualifying ban. So that's Q1 done and dusted with a minute to go. Oscar tops the timetables with 1 minute 27.615. We'll be back for Q2.
Round he goes all the way out to the outside. Actually, not quite. Into the short right hand. We've got a retirement of Schmeck, who's actually crashed. Anyway. Oscar! Oh my lord.
And just to interrupt, Exfirto has crashed into Smoczek, but considering there's no one near next to them, we don't know what's happened.
What?
So Smoczek has apparently crashed, and Exfirto has crashed into him, so both of them will be out. Back to you, Jamboy.
Anyway, Oscar's coming down to the final straight. It activates DRS. He's going to be flying down this bit here. Into the final hairpin. Here we come. A little bit slow, makes it nicely through, doesn't need to try too hard, and he comes up to the line. DRS activated, almost into the pit lane, and we get a 1:27.914 for the Alpine.
We go top of the timesheets at the moment. Right, we will have other people crossing the line. You would like to think in the next couple of moments. Inzino is about to cross the line to start his lap for Racing Bulls. We're not going to focus on him though. We will focus on the championship leader who has to get in front of Oscar, you would like to think. But he doesn't. 1 minute 28.111. Magnesheep, of course, with a lot of screen freezes. Pizza Amazing will be the first out of the drivers who were in deep, deep trouble to try and get himself into Q3 in the Haas. Let's see whether he will be able to do so. Heading through turns 1 and 2, slightly wide at 1. And a big kick of oversteer coming out of turns number 2 through 3. And then up to 4, Mr. Business is retired. Of course, we mentioned that he's already safe, but it hasn't been a good start to that for Pizza Amazing whatsoever. Heading through the S's section, of course, one mistake at any corner here will definitively end your lap, or at least ruin it. Pizza Amazing, all out of sorts. It doesn't look like he's going to be making it through to Q3, but he is only 84 thousandths of a second down in his personal best, Jamboy.
About a tenth down on his time. Little bit shabby. I don't think he'll be making it through into Q3 here, but well, you never know. Anything happens in the race.
Excuzu, interestingly enough, 3.5 tenths up on his personal best. He is, of course, on the bubble. He is the driver at risk at the moment. And, of course, it is only these 3 who are out on a flying run. Asatov towards the middle sector split now. Here he comes. Activates the DRS. 8th gear, 310 kilometers an hour. What is he going to be able to do?
Purple
He's
sector.
A tenth and a bit up. Excuzu also sets a purple sector, but we will ignore those. Coming up towards the line now is Inzino. Of course, he's actually, he didn't make it to the line. Excuzu, 7 tenths up and looks like he's safe. Asatok also improving. Pizza Amazing will be first to the line though for Haas. Can he do anything to improve his lap time? He does by 3/10 of a second, but it isn't enough. Here comes Excuzu, goes 7th. Asatok knocking Zeno out, he can't. And we have our Q3 lineup, Jamboy. A great session.
Very great session there. On the edge of my seat, Magnus has rage quit. He CBAs anymore. But anyway, what a great lineup that is.
Here's your Q2 then. Oscar tops 2 successive qualifying sessions this evening. From his teammate Theo in 2nd for Alpine. The championship leader Bottas is 3rd. Westrizi, Mr. Business and Dean getting through without much of a scrape. Excuzu went up to 7th and 10th for Aston Martin there in the last seconds. Chris Rahman 8th for Sam Rosen and Zeno surviving. Asatok, Pizza Amazing, Magnus Sheep all go out. Smoksek and Exfirto were involved in a crash at the start of the session. The last qualifying session of the evening, Q3, is next. Here comes Oscar looking to string together 3 successive P1s in qualifying this evening as he heads down towards turns number 1 and 2, flicks it left, then flicks it right in 3rd gear for both corners, getting on the curb, riding the curb at turn 2 as he heads through 3 and then up towards the twisty section of 4, all the way down to turn 11, 5th gear. As he turns left 2 times, he's got to keep it together. This is, of course, where he made mistakes in his Q2 run. He's got here without major incidents. Small slide coming out of the final part of that section. First sector split, 31.805, which is, of course, a purple sector. Flicking it left for the carousel corner. 4th gear, rising to 5th, over 200 kilometers an hour. It is a mystical bond between man and machine that Oscar has with this Alpine as he flicks it right, then flicks it left as he heads down the back straight. Jamboy, what do you think is going through his head at the moment?
What he's having for dinner, I reckon.
Fair enough, as he comes up towards the middle sector split. It's a 1 minute point 189. We're nearly into the 59s there. Oscar flinging his car, and the car will obey him. It is absolutely magical to see what he can do when he is on fantastic form. His qualifying form, as we know, is one of the strongest parts about his racecraft. Small lock-up through turn 27, runs slightly wide because of it, but it has been a brilliant lap to open up the proceedings in Q3. Will he make it into the 1 minute 27s? He does, 1 minute 27.331. What a lap!
That is a great lap. He has set that time. Everyone's going to look at that and be like, wow, I wish I was his daddy.
Next up is Mr. Business, who of course got through to Q2 with a decent run. He pits. Then it is Bottas who's coming up to the line. Could Bottas upset the odds? He's 5/10 off. That's interesting. Theo now to the line was 2nd in Q2, of course, had the aid of his teammate to help him with slipstream. He might not get that in this session, and because of it, is a way off. 1 minute 28.552. Next up is Enzino for Racing Bulls. He goes 4th, 1 minute 28.915, and I forgot to mention that Dean set a lap time 1 minute 28.9 as Sam Rose goes 4th, 1 minute 28.8. Bottas will be going in just a second with 10 seconds left in the session here. 9, 8, 7, and the countdown continues. Oscar coming up towards the line. He won't get a second run, so this is it, the definitive last chance saloon for him to improve his lap time. Will it be enough for the man in the Alpine? It is by nearly 0.2 of a second. The ball now in Bottas' court. Westrizi 42 thousandths of a second down. Theo is not improving. He's invalidated his lap. Sam Rose coming up towards the middle sector split now, 0.3 of a second up. And Zeno not improving. Dean on a flying run. Excuso on his first run, but we will ride with Sam Rose. Bottas has spun!
Oh!
Bottas has spun! And qualifying's done. Sam Rose to the final corner, 7th as it stands. He's on a decent run though. A good final sector could see him potentially up onto the 2nd row here. Can Sam Rose do that? No, it's the top of the 3rd row though, in 5th position for him. Theo backs out of his run. Dean is 1/10 up in the 1st sector. As I said all evening, he's been complaining about its qualifying pace. He isn't going to challenge Oscar for pole because we know he's got pole. Dean 5/10 up in the middle sector, flings it left, then right, then right, then left again. Activates the DRS, gets 20 meters away from it, and now flies down the back straight. Will he be able to upset the odds, maybe even displace Sam Rose to get onto the 3rd row, which would be huge for, of course, his championship challenge. Let's not forget he's 16 points behind Bottas at this stage. Final corner done and negotiated with to the line. What is it going to be for the former world champion? It is P4. What a great lap from Dean. And that ends qualifying.
What a qualifying session. That turned me on.
Here's your Q3 order then. Oscar gets pole position by a mammoth 0.6 of a second from Bottas, who of course did throw it away though on his final run. Westrizi in third, Jamboy's pick to win the race. Dean gets up to fourth from last on his final run. Mr. Business and Sam Rose are on row 3. Theo and Chris Rahm in row 4. Excuso and Nzino round out the top 10. The Saudi Arabian Grand Prix is live and uninterrupted, and of course it is next. Are the people listening and watching ready? Because we are ready to go racing here in Saudi Arabia for what should be a classic. The pole man lines up. It will be Magnus Sheep and the McLaren of Smoksek who will go into their grid spots last. But for the first time in a couple of months, at least I am ready to commentate a TRL race. Thank you very much for being with us this evening. Whether you're listening or whether you're watching on Twitch, we are ready to go. So for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, we go to 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 red lights. Oscar leads us from pole. The Saudi Arabian Grand Prix is underway. It's a great launch from Bottas, who looks like he's going to drag past Oscar coming down into turn 1. The pole goes defensive as the two collide going into turn 1, but both survive. Oscar gets a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting, trying to skittle across the corner to try and keep his pole position, but he can't, as Bottas leads the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Not much chaos going through the rest of the field. Nzino has lost a bit of ground, but so far Bottas leads from Oscar in second, Westrizi third, Dean fourth, Sam Rose fifth, Mr. Business, Theo, Chris Rahm and Magnus Sheep and Excuso rounding out the top 10.
Wow.
Oscar trying to go around the outside of Bottas, and he gets it into the lead of the race. Bottas didn't give him a hard time there. Westrizi and Dean go racing each other. They make contact. Sam Rose will try and... Oh! Big slide! Westrizi spins out! But he hasn't collected anyone because he's ghosted. And that is very, very fortunate for the entire field.
Oh.
And Jamboy is heartbroken, but Oscar and Bottas go racing wheel to wheel for the lead of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Dean is in third for McLaren. Of course, he's 16 points behind Bottas for the lead of the championship. He will need a big race today to try and stay within championship contention. Mr. Business fourth, Sam Rose in fifth. Sam Rose has a toe on Mr. Business in the Aston Martin. Let's not forget that. Magnus Sheep drives up to sixth. It looks like his screen tearing problems are gone as Theo goes past him to get back into sixth position.
Sam Rose is missing an end plate.
Is he? I'm just going to check that when we get to a more viable camera angle. Let's find out. Yes, he is.
I think it was Westrizi he collided with just before he ghosted.
I would think that would be the case as Bottas goes past Oscar to take the lead of the race. Of course, DRS enabled after the first lap here in this Grand Prix. So Magnus Sheep 7th, his screen tearing and screen cutting issues resolved now. He's had a great start. He is into the points paying positions, but Bottas leads the race from Oscar in second, Dean in third, Mr. Business followed by Sam Rose, and then there is a trolley train throughout the rest of the field. Bottas sets the fast lap. That's not surprising considering he is one of 3 drivers on the soft compound tyre. Sam Rose under pressure from Magnus Sheep trying to go around the outside of his rival. Oh, they make contact! Sam Rose doesn't spin out, but he will be angry at that as Magnus Sheep punts him out of the way to get into 6th position.
That is, I don't know whose fault is that. It could go either way, to be honest. Only the stewards can tell us.
Well, we'll see if Sam Rose does decide to report Magnus Sheep or whether Magnus Sheep will own up to his own mistakes. Third lap out of 25 in the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Magnus Sheep with a huge kick of oversteer as Mr. Business falls victim to the Jeddah track limits. Picks up a 3-second time penalty, as does Nzino.
We are on lap 3 here, and we've already got 3 seconds. This could be a time-consuming race here.
Here comes Oscar. Can he get into the lead? Coming into the left, right, left. He waits. He's ready to pounce, but he won't go yet. He's like a hungry mouse, as Jamboy once alluded to in the British Grand Prix back in Season 2. Oscar will have to go all the way around the outside. Let's not forget Mr. Business has the toe on Bottas. Bottas could lose 2 places in the space of 1 straight. Mr. Business backs out, doesn't go for the move. But it is a hectic 5-way fight for the lead of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Oscar from Emil, from Business, from Dean, from Theo. And the places are about to change again, you'd like to think.
You would like to think, but you never know.
Oh my goodness me, what a move from the former world champion! He goes from 4th to 2nd, threading the needle between both Bottas and Mr. Business. And that is surely a candidate for overtake of the season. What a brilliant overtake!
Dean Con is the man. Emil doesn't know what to do with himself anymore. He's dropped down 2 positions in about 2 corners.
The field opening up now. Dean has a second buffer to Theo. Theo has a second buffer to Bottas, who pits.
Oh, England are like
strategy
5 metres from the try line.
I know, yeah, but the strategy for Kick Sauber has backfired. Magnesheep stays out, but Bottas pits.
I think he's done the right decision there, Magnesheep. I think leave him on for any more laps. He'll be at the bottom soon.
Very quick stop though from Kick Sauber as Bottas goes on to the medium yellow wall compound. He will be down in around 13th position. I would suggest he's going to be racing in Zeno. He gets out in 12th, so Bottas outside of the points as it stands. As it stands, Dean leads the championship by 2 points. Wapping goes past Magnesheep, everyone jostling for position. Magnesheep stayed out as Xfirto and Chris Rahman go side by side through the first couple of corners. They don't make contact, which is great racecraft from the two of them as Xfirto stays in 9th position. Wapping and Magnesheep, the only 2 drivers left in the soft compound tyre after the first 9 laps of this race. Still no safety car, Jamboy. Do you find that a bit surprising?
I am surprised because I really thought Hecron would have crashed by now. But he's still going. I think we've got 2 in this race though.
And the Mercedes 5th and 6th, and Sam Rose has closed up quite a bit to Excusio. He actually lost a place to Excusio, which I didn't see on the last lap, or whenever that did happen. So Sam Rose back down to 5th, and obviously not making up any ground whatsoever. To Theo, to Dean, and to Oscar, but Excusio does run wide, allowing the Season 1 champion of Tireless Racing League to try and get the move done. 50 metres away from the DRS, opens up that rear slot and that rear wing. This is a very, very risky move to pull off. Can he get it done? No, he backs out. Very smart.
Smart move from...
Oh! Excusio in the wall! But isn't out of the race. And that might be very lucky due to the reduced rate of damage.
Oh, he's got nothing on his front wing, sorry. He's a lucky, lucky good boy.
Hecron goes right around the outside, gets the move done. Wapping also has a chance to go right around the outside. Hecron locks the rears and Excusio gets the move done again. But he is under serious, serious pressure. Yellow flag. Chris Rahman has had some sort of an incident at turn 27.
Oh!
Those pits. And Magnesheep.
Oh, they've hit the wall!
Who in the wall?
I think it was the Aston Martin. I can't tell. Someone's end plate flew off.
And he got a 3-second time penalty straight after it. So Sam Rose pits, which is interesting considering he started on the mediums. And Excusio in the wall! Excusio ain't out of the race though. Safety car deployed.
Safety car. Oh.
And Sam Rose and Magnesheep have pit at the worst time possible.
Oh no. That is.
And this race is neutralized.
That is so unlucky for anyone.
What happened to Excusio because he was going so well, and in the space of around a minute, he just loses the car so many times. Now loses his entire front wing, brings a safety car out, and his race isn't over, but it's certainly damaged Jamboy. Halfway stage of the race, Oscar to control the restart. It's been a good one so far.
It has been a good one. This is a great race to come back to.
100%.
And remember, we're only halfway through. What can happen next?
50% done of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, Act 1 done with a bang, and Oscar gets us going. Dean slightly caught napping. Excusio, 10-second penalty for colliding with Magnesheep under safety car, but Oscar gets the race going again, and it's a perfect restart from the pole, who is of course looking to ignite himself into this season's championship fight. Dean is in second. He leads the World Championship as it stands, as the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix goes from safety car conditions to racing conditions. We are back underway. Not much position jostling as Bottas gets back into the point scoring positions. He gets past Chris Rahman to get into 10th position. He needs a big second half of the race, doesn't he, Jamboy?
He does need a big second half of the race. And I know
Theo out of the race, virtual safety car. Theo out of the race, virtual safety car, and he is in the wall. And I'm not sure how that's happened, but it is our first retirement off the race.
That is he must have hit the inside wall and then gone straight on, I would have thought.
Yeah.
But that's put a little pause to everyone's race.
Just a slender one, though, because of course there's only virtual safety car.
Indeed.
So all the work that Oscar did doesn't go out the window in any way, shape, or form.
I wonder if we could
but
get
he would have liked to keep racing.
Theo in here, have a chat to him, see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see. Obviously, Theo did so well in qualifying, and his race now ruined by the pesky inside wall. Whatever happened, we'll try to get information on that. But we are back to racing conditions. Dean is right on the outside of Oscar. Dean played that like a fiddle. Unbelievable restart from the former champion, who looks to take the lead of this race.
He's going to try with all his might. Oscar, though, he's a tough cookie to get past.
Dean's going to have to go all the way around the outside, coming up towards turn 27. Can he get the move done? Oscar stays in front. Dean is going to go for the switchback. Makes contact, nearly spins out, but he survives.
I think he's got DRS, which will hopefully pull him on a little bit more.
He'll have DRS now at the start of this next lap. Lap 14 of 25, but the race is blown wide open again. Oscar, I don't think he was caught napping. Potentially he was speeding under VSC. And Dean just played the restart to perfection. What a brilliant strategy from the Season 1 champion. But Oscar nearly getting out of DRS. He's got 6/10.
He does. But, well defended from Oscar, though.
Very well. I think he'll be happy with that.
He will be. Getting caught out by that. No one needs that in their life, do they?
No, exactly. Yellow flag safety car deployed. And what has happened now? Nobody's out of the race, but has someone lost a front wing, or has there been a puncture somewhere?
I can't see anything. I'm currently riding on board with the Haas of Pizza Amazing. I haven't seen anything, though, so it must have been a bit before.
Oscar pits.
Ooh.
Dean stays out. Is Oscar looking to... I don't think Oscar can serve his penalty, can he?
No. However, mediums to the end.
We'll see if that strategy works, because he'll have around 8 or 9 laps to sustain himself.
But not many people have picked.
Excusu retires. Excusu retires. So Oscar will be back at the... He will be the back off the field, and he will have to come all the way from 15th to win the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. And there will be less than 10 laps to go.
I mean, in theory, good idea. In reality, I don't know.
Dean will lead us to the green flag racing. Scotland missed the try, I'm pretty sure, or the conversion, sorry. We'll have a full-time update as Dean puts the foot flat to the floor. It's not a great bit of decision-making there. He certainly hasn't given the jump to himself, as Wapping is within a 10th of him, and maybe the Red Bull is going to take the lead of this race. Dean is going to be under tremendous pressure, but he holds on to the lead of the race because Wapping runs wide. Nearly goes into the back of him as well.
Oh! Heckon anally rapes Wapping there. Spins him a little bit, but they're still going.
Excuse me?
Hey.
Oh, and a virtual safety car. And the race is neutralized again because Xerto is out of the race. The
same incident, I believe. He stopped where who was the previous driver? I think it was Theo had stopped there. He, that's unlucky.
Dean's put his foot flat to the floor. He thinks he's got away with it. He has.
Oh, Chris Raman.
Chris Raman gets a drive-through penalty, but Dean has played the grid like a fiddle. He's got a 5/10 lead.
The Red Bull spins on the final corner, I believe. He's got a 5-second gap.
Absolutely incredibly well strategized from Dean as he takes the lead of this race. And Wapping hits the inside wall there. Heckron might have a chance. He goes into the back of him there, maybe giving him a little bit of a bump. You aren't in NASCAR, son. You're in Formula 1. Zeno gets a 3-second time penalty. We're waiting for the full-time whistle to blow at Twickenham, and then we can fully focus our attention on the last 8 laps of this race. Dean leads from Wapping from Heckron. Sam Rose 4th. Smolczek in 5th. Bottas in 6th. Chris Raman 7th. Mr. Business, Magnushoop and Oscar round out the top 10. But what a great restart it was from Dean, Jamboy.
Bottas, he is sniffing the rear end of Smolczek here. A little bit of smoke comes out, and we got a spinner! Mr. Business!
Mr. Business is around, but he doesn't retire from the race, nor does he cause a VSC or a full
He's missing his end plate, left-hand side.
Here comes Wapping to the outside. He takes the lead of the race. Dean will send it up the inside in a desperate attempt to stay in the lead. He'll have to force it around the outside, but he gets it done. Full time at Twickenham. England get the job done.
Come on.
Back to the race, and it is an incredible battle here. The front 5 are separated by a second. What a brilliant race it has been. What a brilliant conclusion it's going to be, Jamboy. Who's your money on?
It was Who was it? It was Westreezy. He's kind of washed though. Wapping. Do it, buddy.
Bottas goes past Sam Rose to get into 4th position, and Bottas truly means business now. He would still lead the championship by 3 points as it stands. Chris Rahman picks up another 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. But Bottas is on the charge. Bottas is on the prowl. Bottas wants the race win, but he has to negotiate himself past Hecron Wapping, and of course his championship rival Dean Con 91.
This is going to be tight. He is right up the rear end of Hecron here.
Hecron is a bit out of sorts though, and Bottas will have the chance to go all the way around the outside. But let's not forget the fact that Wapping has got DRS on Deancon 91. He won't be able to get past it to turn 27 though, or is he? Hecron sends up the inside of Wapping. They make contact. Bottas goes around the outside. Bottas goes from 6th to 3rd in the space of a lap.
Oh my word. Insane racing. I'm loving it. Fun fact, the only race I didn't win when I was in my prime was Saudi.
Oh, what a move from Bottas!
Oh!
What a brilliant move. He cuts from the outside to the inside, almost what Daniel Ricciardo did back at the Italian Grand Prix in 2014 and Sebastian Vettel. And Bottas now finds himself 1 place behind his championship rival. Incredible.
Great. Great. Great stuff. Here comes Wapping!
Here comes Wapping! Oh my good God! Goes up the inside, nearly forces both of them off the track. Somehow survives. Sam Rose in 4th position, trying to get past Wapping in turn. But let's not forget the fact that Bottas is closing on his championship rival. And this is, of course, for the definitive lead of the race. Oscar is also in this battle, as Smartcheck goes racing wheel to wheel with him.
Oh, Hecron hit the wall!
Hecron hits the wall. Here comes Oscar now trying to get past him. He does so. And now he might be in the battle for the lead of this race. Bottas getting very close to his championship rival. Will go the long way around. Dean forces his way up the inside. Bottas gets it done. Oh, Dean's going to have to go the long way around the outside. Bottas leads the race. And Wapping gets into 2nd.
Oh my word. I didn't even notice. I was looking on behind. Oscar nearly spun.
And maybe, just maybe, Bottas can go and win this race now. He's got 7 tenths in his championship rival, and what a way to win the race this would be. He gets a penalty!
No!
Goodness gracious me, the drama is amped up to 10.
Oh, contact! Oscar into Smochek. Hecron, 3 seconds.
Surely the aim of Wapping now would be to work to Dean to try and close up to Bottas now. As we head into the final 4 laps of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Bottas needs to find 2.5 seconds in 4 laps to win this race. Oscar's up to 4th position. Mr. Business gets another 3-second time penalty, but maybe Oscar could win this race if the front 3 come together. Smartcheck goes right around the outside of him. Dean gets very close to Bottas, sends it up the inside. Contact made, nearly slides out of contention, but somehow survives.
Oh my word. Oscar's lost about 2 places in that straight there. He's looking ropey, but I think it might have been just the DRS. Oh, unlucky
Jamboy's picked to win the race. Westreezy gets a 3-second time penalty. We have a car off. Asetok has spun at the first 2 corners. Doesn't bring out a safety car, though this would probably be your last lap to bring out a VSC or a safety car, as Bottas once again pulls out a 1-second lead. 2.5 laps to go in the race. Dean has had a good lap by his standards. He didn't dip out of the DRS range, crucially, and he's now within 7, 6, 5, going down to 4 tenths between him and Bottas as we head to 2 to go in Saudi Arabia. Can he win the race on track, Jamboy?
He could. But will he?
We'll find out, and he has a great run here in the front straight. Nothing silly here. He makes contact. It's a reckless bit of defending for Bottas, who slides through the first corner. Mr. Business has spun, but it's too late to bring out a safety car. Could he be doing his former teammate a favour here?
I think Mr. Business needs to be put down at this point.
That's a bit harsh.
Wow. I'm sorry.
So it's between Dean and Wapping on track to win the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, because let's not forget that Bottas did pick up a 3-second time penalty just a couple of laps ago when it seemed he had the race won. Let's not forget he came back from 7th on the medium compound tyre to come through to take the lead, but it was all gone in a couple of corners when of course he got that time penalty. which has thrown this entire race into disrepute. Dean in second, Wapping third, but Bottas leads the way on track. He needs to find 2 and a bit seconds in 1.5 laps. He surely couldn't do it.
Surely he can.
Mr. Business officially out of the race now, but that's not going to bring out a safety car because he's retired in the pit lane. So here we go. We are nearing 1 lap to go here in Saudi Arabia. Dean still can't pull away from Wapping, who's looking to get a race victory for Red Bull. Dean looking to get a victory for McLaren. Bottas, if any of those two come together, looking to get a race win for Kick Sauber as he tries to defend his championship lead as we head to the white flag here in Saudi Arabia. Dean might have a great chance to win this race on track. He's got 10% of his battery left. Bottas doesn't defend. Dean sends it down the inside. Can he get the move done? Small bit of contact. He doesn't need to get past. He holds it right around the outside.
Oh!
Dean gets a penalty!
Wapping! What? Wapping can win this!
Wapping has to get past both of them on track if he wants to win it on track. But Dean has to get past Bottas to win this race now. He might have inadvertently thrown it away on the final lap of the Grand Prix. Unbelievable scenes.
Oh. My lord.
All Wapping has to do is keep it within the boundaries of the circuit, and he is going to win the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. All Dean has to do is get past Bottas, which is easier said than done. He needs a miraculous final sector. All Bottas has to do is just stay in front of the two of them and not mess anything up. He has to defend a 6/10 of a second gap. And let's not forget last time what happened when the stakes were on offer, when the stakes were on the table, when the chips were down on the final lap of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix in TRL. We got a photo finish. Can Dean somehow, some way get past Bottas? He has one last chance down towards turn 27. He's going to have to use DRS. He's going to have to get the exit, but he doesn't. And Valtteri Bottas somehow finds a way to win the race on track. But Wapping wins the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. What a race, Jamboy.
What? How do I describe this? Exhilarating race we've got on our hands here.
Unbelievable scenes.
My Westreezy in 9th place. At least you finished. Big ups to you.
He does a backflip. He thinks he's Rey Mysterio.
He's that guy.
And then he does a weird pose of his legs. But the British flag is on top of the TRL podium, and Red Bull are back to winning ways. The king would be proud. Here is your race results for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, and what a race it was. 42 minutes, 35 seconds, and 7/10 of a second sees Wapping win the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix from Bottas in second and Dean in third. You can feel for Dean, though, that was the one that got away. Magdashik finishes in fourth with Oscar in fifth, Samrose sixth, Smokzak, Hecker and Asatok and Chris Rahman round out the top 10. In Zeno is 11th, Pizza Amazing 12th, Westreezy in 13th. Mr. Business, Exfirto, Excuzu, and Theo were our retirements. What a Grand Prix.